Who are the players that are playing brilliantly at club level but could step up in 2024 and be household names by this time next year? Who are the breakout stars of the year going to be? I've got some names for you. I want to hear yours in the comments down below and tell me what you think of my suggestions. Let's get into it. And the first name I've got for you is from Ireland, and it's Tom Ahern. I think it's Tom's time. It looks like Peter O'Mahony's international career is coming to an end. And who better to take his place in the Ireland squad than one of the young Munstermen coming through over the last few years. And Tom Ahern's been on the periphery of the Ireland squad. I think it might be his time. He's a massive unit, brilliant line out forward. I think Ireland will probably either start with Ryan Baird on the blindside flank, or they'll put Caelan Doris to the blindside flank and move Jack Conan to number 8. Either way, there opens up a spot on the bench, potentially for Tom Ahern, who can play across the back 5 of the scrum and is a brilliant line-out operator, which Ireland, if they have had any weaknesses, that is one of them. So Tom Ahern, my first suggestion. Second name, Emilien Gaiton. He's been around the French squad. He was almost in the French World Cup squad. He was in the training squad. Absolute star for the under-20s. Brilliant for Poe. Deceptively quick. Could operate on the wing at centre. I think he's better than Yoram Moefana, so I would have him in the number 23 shirt for France as it is now. I hope he gets more chances in 2024. I think this kid is an absolute star. And alongside him in French colours before long is going to be tight head prop Tavita Tatafu. He plays for Bayonne. He's absolutely massive. He is Tongan. 150 kgs. There are not many human beings as big as him, and he qualifies for France this year. And France, again, if they have a weakness, it's in that tight head prop position. The depth there is not as good as elsewhere in the squad. They have got another giant human being to fill the void. And while I'm talking about France, actually, let me just say I apologise that there's been fewer videos in the channel lately, and that is because I've been away in France, working on a secret rugby mission, which you're going to be able to see soon. Watch this space. But I've been to Bayonne and Biarritz. I've been to Pau, to Castres, to the mighty Toulouse. And one thing I'm really going to miss back in the UK is not watching top 14 rugby. Just use NordVPN, sponsors of this video. They have a huge discount plus 4 months extra free on every 2-year plan. So use NordVPN to watch Télévision en français. Nice. So does that also mean I can watch Premiership rugby from England while I'm away in France as well? Well, yeah. I mean, watch it from anywhere. Just change your location to back home, et voila. So hold on a minute. What about stuff that's not rugby? I could use my Netflix and use NordVPN to get access to all the shows that aren't free in the UK, but you can get around the world. You're getting it now. Plus, you can stay safe from malware with threat protection, and everything that you do online is protected with robust encryption. Ooh la la. This is a game changer. And also, this talking to myself from the future and the past is a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah, that's fair. But do you know what? Grab your exclusive NordVPN discount by going to nordvpn.com/eggchasers for your huge discount on a 2-year plan plus 4 months extra free and no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/eggchasers. C'est bon. And let's get back into my names to watch in 2024. For England, Ted Hill. He's just back from a long-term injury. He's some player. Do you know what? Ted Hill is like an archetype blindside flanker. He's basically about the same size as Peter Steph Totoy, maybe a couple of centimetres shorter, but he's got that kind of massive defensive energy when he plays. A good line out forward, just massive work rate, huge engine, all the things you love a good blindside flanker to have, and he'll bang. He will smash people all day long. I'm delighted he's back fit. I think it could be Ted Hill's time, particularly as Steve Borthwick no longer has Courtney Laws. He seems to have found Ollie Chesham to fill that void. But after that, I'm not sure there is an absolute automatic pick unless you shift George Martin onto the flank. I think Ted Hill could be the answer at blindside flanker. And another option for England this year, I'm going to call a breakout player in 2024, Zack Mercer. I think it's Zack Mercer's time as well. It looked like he was being overlooked. You could tell from the interviews he gave that he was a little bit frustrated at being overlooked for the recent Six Nations tournament. A lot of people would have had him in the World Cup squad last year. You can understand when you look back at the World Cup why Steve Borthwick didn't pick Zack Mercer, because England played a kicking game, territory, pressure, and that's not a Zack Mercer type of game. The England that we just saw in the last couple of weeks of the Six Nations, now we're talking. Now it opens up the option for Zack Mercer, who is an absolutely fabulous attacking number 8. I think Ben Earl has got that shirt at the minute and deserves it, but he's got to have an understudy. At the minute, that's Alex Dombrandt. I rank Zack Mercer ahead of Alex Dombrandt, especially when England are playing with a bit more ambition than they currently are. He's shown that he's not just, you know, a number 8 with great skills, which he definitely is, and good footwork and a good explosive turn of pace. But when he was in the top 14, Player of the Year in top 14 and won the top 14 with Montpellier, and he showed he can mix it with the big boys and carry in heavy traffic. So I think Zack Mercer is overdue a proper shot for England, and I hope 2024 is the year he gets it. I'm predicting that it will be the case. And sticking in the back row, that's exactly the focal point when you look at South Africa. And, well, the obvious name for me to have a breakout 2024, Cameron Hanom. I mean, just a classy back row player. You know, if you were just sort of like ticking off the qualities that you'd want to have for a great number 8, Cam Hanom, he's got every single one of them. Really intelligent rugby brain, really soft skills, great turn of pace, explosive, can get stuck in, can carry hard. He has been a revelation, so young, and he could be the Springbok number 8 for the next 2 World Cups. He's the guy to fill the massive Dwayne Vermeulen-sized hole in that South African back row. Of course, Jasper Wiese will have something to say about that. So will Kwagga Smith, and so will, and I considered leaving it there with South Africa and the breakout names for 2024. But it's such a hard one to call in this particular position that I'm also going to say Evan Roose. And I think probably we will look back at this video in a year's time and it will either be Cam Hanom or Evan Roose, and not both. Although they both can operate across the back row, I think it's such a strong area, it's such an area of strength for South Africa that I only see one of them really getting significant game time. Which one is it going to be? For the most of this season, it's looked to me like it was destined to be Cameron Hanom. You could also throw Elrig Lowe into the mix on the flank more so. But Evan Roose has all of a sudden started to put a couple of performances in that make you think, oh, maybe he could be the Springbok number 8. I mean, he's played a few, he's had a few caps there before. I remember watching, he started for England, started against England. I watched that game at Twickenham, the end of 2022, and I thought he looked really good. So maybe it is going to be Evan Roose. I mean, a proper physical specimen. If he can stop giving away penalties, if he can stop having those little brain fart moments on the pitch, and he can just consistently bring what he does, which is huge physicality and legal violence on a rugby pitch, which I love, then he could be the boy. So Evan Roose, Cam Hanom, what are you saying? Which one of those two? Or will it be someone else that's going to take Dwayne Vermeulen's mantle and, you know, fill some of the void and maybe put pressure on Siya Kolisi and other players in the South African back row? Which one's it going to be? Tell me in the comments down below. While you're there, if you haven't already, hit subscribe on the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. That really helps as well. Stephen Perez, the oldest of the suggestions I have got for you at 27 years young, playing for the Blues, fly half, although he can operate elsewhere in the back line. I think he's been underused, and if he was any other nationality, he would have had more time, but he's been playing behind Beauden Barrett and DMAC and others. But I think Stephen Perez and Richie Mwanga, of course. I think Stephen Perez is in the mix. He's in the mix to start. More likely, he's in the mix to be on the bench and maybe backing up DMAC in the All Black back line. Really, really good player. And every time I've seen the Blues this season, he's been bossing it. So I think they've won 4 out of their 5 games, and Perez is classy. Really, really classy player. So it's weird to say a 27-year-old having a breakthrough year, but that's just it. He's hardly had any game time in an all-black jersey, and I think that could change this year. We will see. Peter Lakai, he's more of a bolter suggestion. I don't see him starting for New Zealand. I still think that Razor will go with Ethan Blackadder, maybe Dalton Papali'i or Sam Cane, and, you know, Ardie Savia. I'm assuming Savia will he be back to play for Rugby Championship and stuff? Anyway, point being, this lad is filling the RD Savia mantle at the Hurricanes, and he's looking very, very good. Explosive, really exciting player. Bossed it for the under-20s in the Rugby World Cup if you saw him when he played in that one. 21 years of age. He's got a big future. Could that future begin this year? We'll see. Under the reign of Razor, there's Luke Jacobson, there's a lot of good back row players in New Zealand, so it's no mean feat if he does get in the mix. He has played at 8, but also on the open side flank, I think he's been playing for the last few games for the Canes. So, yeah, I like the look of Peter Lakai. And moving on to Australia, 2 more names for you. Max Jorgenson, he made the Australia World Cup squad back in October. Unfortunately, he had an ankle injury, so he wasn't able to make his debut. But I would imagine Max Jorgenson's going to make his debut this year, no question. He's starting at 15 for the Waratahs regularly, looking really good. And he has turned down the advances of some NRL teams that were desperate to get his signature. They've managed to get his teammate Mark Nwanganitawase, but they have not got Max Jorgenson. He's committed his future to the Tars and to Australia Rugby, which is a massive boost with the British and Irish Lions tour next year. So that's class. This kid, 19 years of age, he's got it all. He really has. And so I'm excited to see what he can do this year. This is a bit more of a bolter as well. I'll finish on this one. 10 would have been a good number to have done. But as I was looking at Australia, I thought, do you know what? I'll just chuck another name in the mix right at the end. And Miles Amatercero, who was playing over in France at Clermont-Auvergne. And I mean, you can understand why they loved him in French rugby, because he's absolutely enormous. 6'8" and 125 kegs. Big, big unit. He has been starting mainly on the bench for the Waratahs this season. And you could quite imagine Joe Schmidt will actually go for Fergus Lee Warner or Hugh Sinclair. Is it Sinclair, I think? I can imagine they'll go for the 2 teammates of Miles Amatercero who are actually starting for the Tars. But this kid on the bench, I wonder if they're just gently introducing him. He re-signed back in Australian rugby. He signed for the Waratahs for this season. And I just wonder if he's being eased in. I think possibly on the longer horizon, he looks like Will Skelton's natural heir. Could his time in a Wallaby jersey come a bit sooner? I think he's going to need to earn a starting Waratahs jersey first. And then we will see. But he's a baller. He's got some skills. And those are my suggestions. There's 11 names. Some bolters, some a little bit I'm more confident on. Some it's going to be an either or. And I'd love to know what you think. And what other names I might have missed. Hey, if you come up with enough good suggestions, I could do another video on exactly this topic. In the meantime, give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. I will see you on the next one.